Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So as you can tell by the title of today's video, we will be talking about a very large winter storm that is already occurring. It's a very long duration event, at least for the southwestern United States. It's been occurring, the atmospheric river, you may have seen it in the news, a ton of precipitation for the southwest, especially California, which is honestly a bit of good news, right? I mean, in the long term, it's going to be very beneficial. In the short term, obviously, damages to trees, whatnot, heavy rain, flooding, mudslides, landslides. But again, as this thing moves to the southwest, it picks up speed and it will dash. I mean, it will seriously sprint through the rest of the United States in about 1/4 of the time. It's already kind of spent across the southwest, but nevertheless, it's going to produce a lot of wind for a huge area of the United States. You could see there are already high wind warnings for a good chunk of the United States. Look at that: Kansas, Oklahoma, Nebraska. All of these brown colors, those are wind advisories, or actually, sorry, high wind watches. Some of the gusts could be 60, even 70 miles per hour from this beast. There will be some rain and some heavy snow across the plains as well. So before we get into this and I start showing you more about this winter storm, I do want to say that if you do enjoy this type of content, feel free to check out the channel, check out the video, and see if you do enjoy it. If you do, consider subscribing. I do also want to say I do have a gardening channel. I will be posting more on it. Obviously, I know this is a weather channel, but I know I have a lot of viewers that like gardening, or if you just would like to check it out for whatever reason, it's in the link description below. I will be uploading a bunch of videos in the near term, so consider consider doing that. Otherwise, let's start talking about this. So again, as I already mentioned this briefly, we have a lot of activity currently occurring. A lot of winter storm warnings in the pink, a lot of wind advisories for California. You can see in the lighter browns, we have high wind warnings across the plains. I mean, just a massive area of the United States is covered in some sort of a advisory or alert, and you can see advisories in terms of winter weather are all the way into the northwest. We have pretty much everything here that we can find: flash flood warnings, gale warnings, wind chill warnings. That's mainly across Alaska. Yeah, so we have a ton of stuff that is gonna be occurring in the next really 24 to 48 hours. Let me just click on California and show you some of these warnings and kind of show you. Let me just click on a random location. I just want to demonstrate to you some of these obscene forecast amounts of snow that could be falling for the mountains. So again, right now it is snowing across many of these locations. Look at that: 18 to 24, 24 to 30, 3 to 7 inches. I found a few locations that had over 100 inches of snow forecasted. I don't know if I'll be able to find them again. Look at this: 15 to 21, overnight 30 to 36, 8 to 12, and then you can see a bit of a break, right? And then again another system: 7 to 11, 3 to 7. So there a lot of activity is headed and already again occurring. If we take a look at Nevada, a lot of precipitation is also going to be occurring. Las Vegas, almost half an inch of rain. You can see really though these amounts right here really stand out, where you could see up to 6-7 inches of liquid. A lot of rain. That is definitely good news. They need that. Further west, a lot of these areas will stay dry, but there is a potential for those increasing winds, and some of them can be powerful if not damaging. And you can see there is a slight chance of rain, but really it's just the winds. And if you're to take a look at that Wednesday afternoon time frame, yeah, 26 to 31 sustained gusts as high as 60, and again, that's not even the kind of the highest of the high winds. I think some of these locations here could be peaking in terms of the wind gust. Yeah, look at that: 75 mile per hour in the foothills in South Park. So really a impactful system, even if it doesn't necessarily bring a lot of precip to those areas, which it can, and I'll demonstrate which ones do in just a second. Look at this past 6-hour radar loop. I mean, if you've been looking at the radar the last 2 days, it's been looking the same, just constant precip across the west. So again, it's a long duration system across California. Rain in the valleys, rain on the coasts, heavy. I mean, historic potentially amounts of snow in the mountains, and right now we are seeing the peak intensity. And I said this yesterday, anywhere from around 4, 5, 6, 7 Pacific time. So right now, again, it's still a few hours away when I'm recording this video. That's when the peak snowfall will be occurring, and the intensity of rain will be picking up. Notice San Francisco is absolutely getting hammered by some rain, especially areas south. Notice the mountains. I just saw a webcam of Tahoe City. A lot of very heavy snow has fallen, and the visibilities were poor because of how heavily it was still they're falling. You could see Northern California, a lot of precipitation as well. Good news, right? I mean, there are some burn scars getting impacted by this, where landslide, mudslides are unfortunately a reality, but in the long term, this is good news. And you can see this thing just continues pummeling California as it gradually moves to the south. Anywhere across the east in these states where I'm kind of vaguely highlighting with my cursor, it's been getting warmer. You may have noticed it's probably very warm across your location today relative to where it was yesterday, or just compared to average, and it's gonna continue happening. This system is just pumping moist and warm air across the most of the United States, and I want to show you that using this weather model, right? So again, let me go to a high-res one, because this is not the one I wanted to use. Let me take a look at the HER model, a very, very good model I like to look at, and let me show you the 2-meter temperature shaded. So again, as I mentioned, it's been getting pumped, and notice today was a decently warm day for December, actually. Very, very warm day, unseasonably warm for much of the eastern United States, and really just southern and even northern. Look what happens during the overnight hours. Really many locations across the Midwest, the Northeast, struggle to even get towards the the frost area, which is really unusual for this time of the year. Notice tomorrow we see a large increase across the south. Oklahoma, Texas, 70s, 80s towards the south, and we do have 50s, 40s, way up into Wisconsin, Michigan, Iowa, even Minnesota. Though there is some remaining snow cover that is preventing those warm temperatures from being too awfully warm across Minnesota from that recent snowstorm. Wednesday we really see that peak out, and look, I mean, we see at already 12. So noon, we see 60s in Chicago, Des Moines, Omaha, much of Kansas, Wichita, Topeka, Kansas City, St. Louis, 70s, and then anywhere towards the south, Texas especially, 70s and 80s. And if you are to put this further, which I can't, but this heat will spread into the east and northeast on Thursday. Again, it's short-lived. Thursday, many of these locations will be much colder, average, but that will mean a 30 to 40 temperature degree drop. And while this is occurring, let me show you what the radar may be doing. So again, we have that currently ongoing right now. Here's a timeline assuming Central Standard Time. Let me go to the current time, and again, just subtract a few hours since you live across the West Coast. It's a bit delayed, it's 2 hours behind. And notice that we do see that heavy rain really pick up, that mountain intensity, the snowfall. Look at that, northern Nevada, northern California, just hammered with snow. And you can see large cities in the south also, Los Angeles, San Diego, eventually getting in on this overnight and into tomorrow morning. Nevada seeing very heavy snow. Again, it does start picking up speed, so it's been slow. It kind of moves out of there, and by really tomorrow, late at night, 7, 10, 11 p.m., we do start seeing a lot of this precip and moisture skedaddle out of the California area, and even almost Nevada, so, as it starts moving into New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado. And it doesn't spend, unfortunately, a lot of time here, even though some of that snow would be beneficial. You can see it, again, it skedaddles even further, and it picks up a lot of speed. And by the way, you could tell this thing is pumping warm air because of all these tight isobars. Those wind warnings are because of that. The wind is extremely strong. It's powerful, so it's not only, again, causing damage because of how strong it is, but it's pumping so much warm air so quickly that there could be 70s, in Illinois and Iowa as mid-December is almost here, and it will be. This is December 15th. And you can see also the warm advection kind of showers a lot of this moisture, some thunderstorms, maybe even potential across Indiana, Michigan on late Tuesday into early Wednesday. And you can see, boom, this is as far as this model goes. We do have another system moving in on the west, but this one is yet to develop. This model only goes out to 48 hours. So in order to continue what the timeline of what I think is a good probability of what may happen, though again, to track, this is just one model. It's still a bit uncertain. You can see a lot of that warm air again being pumped, right? That snow, that system, I should say, moves out, but once it does into the plains, it takes advantage of that warm air very, very quickly, even though it is a quick moving beast. Look how fast that's moving. We see a lot of snow develop on a cold side. Again, definitely a blizzard. That would not be an issue. The winds would definitely be sustainable for a blizzard if that snow were to occur. Again, this is just one scenario. You can see it's pretty far towards the west in terms of the snowfall. Some, actually most showed across Minnesota, maybe even northwestern Iowa, so a bit further towards the east. But you can see that line of storms is nasty. Hopefully, we don't get a lot of severe weather, but it's definitely a potential. There is a marginal as of now issued, probably a slight or enhanced will be in kind of the once we actually come closer to it and we have more details pronounced. But yeah, this is a nasty system, guys. Look how strong that millibar is, or how low it is, 979. That does indicate a very strong system, well put together. It's a beast. And we do have another system again moving on to California, so that's even more snowfall. So as far as this one goes, which is only 60 hours, let's take a look at that accumulated precipitation. Again, a lot of rain here, but you can see it starts showing decent amounts here, especially under any given thunderstorm. Let's take a look at the total accumulated snowfall. Notice, obviously, if that were to occur, there would be heavy amounts where that little small band of snow would occur, but anywhere across the Southwest, it's a lot more impressive. And that is just one model. Let's take a look at one more that goes even further out, and you can see shows relatively the same, a bit less across the point, but it eventually does show a swath of snow. Again, more you can see into northwest Iowa, Nebraska, and Minnesota, but again, that system is massive. It may not seem like it based on its snowfall totals, but again, I do think that these models are underestimating significantly what this system could actually do across the Midwest in terms of snowfall. Look at the structure of this thing, very well put together. I think the NAM again is underestimating this. It's kind of showing a sloppy system, but a lot of rain on the warm side, decent snow, very strong winds. You could see those are very strong winds Wednesday and Thursday across Wisconsin, Illinois, probably 60 to 70 even mile per hour wind gust occasionally. That's damaging at that point. Almost a severe thunderstorm type criteria. So yes, definitely concerning, and it eventually does walk away, or if you will, I should say sprint away that system. But by then, again, we do have that precip that falls. We do have a lot of that snow across the Southwest. Look at that. That's definitely a decent footprint, though it's definitely more impressive across the Southwest. And again, if this was just a bit slower, this thing could have been a massive storm with, a lot of precipitation totals. It's just that it's quick. So it still drops a decent amount of snow in this time frame. I mean, this could be falling within a few hours, maybe 4 or 5. So if it does snow, it's probably going to be snowing 1 to 2 inches of snow per hour. And again, I think this is still an underestimate of what may fall. GFS, right? It's a good model. Let's take a look at what this model shows in terms of the layout of this system. Again, there it is across the Southwest. It ends up moving out of there by late tomorrow. You can see late Tuesday it is, late Tuesday. It's still occurring across a good portion of California, but it's further towards the south, and really by the next Wednesday afternoon time frame. Look at that. I mean, look how quick that moves across the Southwest. So it's out of there quick. We have a lot of, again, wind, very strong moisture levels, and high moisture levels, high temperatures, and that does cause the system to explode in terms of intensity. And look at that. Boom. I mean, it's like a thunderstorm. It's massive, explosive. Again, a strong cold for potential. A lot of snow. You can see that's some very heavy snow. Again, possibly even just a thought of 6 to 7 inches in a matter of a few hours right there. So definitely impressive. And as I put this forward, notice what happens across the west. Again, another system across California. Yet another one, not as big, but it does drop more snow. And the one across the north, the same big one. It does end up producing a lot of snow for Ontario. Potentially, southeastern Ontario, southwestern Ontario, but then it eventually does move out and kind of go away. So total precipitation, I don't know if this model will show it because it's still processing, but let me show you what it showed with the 12Z model run, which is just a bit older information. Again, you can see good footprint of rain. Again, even if that doesn't fall as snow, which I do think some of it will, a lot of it is across the Southwest. That's kind of the remarkable side of this system. The winds, again, aren't demonstrated by this, but the winds are going to be definitely a key news headline across these areas. And again, I do think there's a good threat of 6 or plus inches of snow across these areas. If they get that sudden burst, for a few hours, it may not sound like a good event. A few hours of snow, we've seen that before. Again, it's going to be very heavy snowfall rates. This system is massively strong and potent. And that's why, hence, there's going to be so much winds and maybe not that much moisture. But you can't judge a system just based off its moisture levels, unfortunately. That would make it a bit too easy. Notice Canadian, again, it shows that snowfall, but a lot across the Southwest. Again, the speed of the system limits it in terms of total accumulated precipitation, so liquid snow and rain. Quite a bit on that rainy side of things. Maybe not as much for the snow according to these models, but again, I do think they're underestimating this. And let's take a look at how the system just evolves, because Canadian does something a bit different with this system. You can see it's a bit stronger, larger, more precip tied up with it. You can see that is a big system, lots of snow on the backside, maybe even Minneapolis getting in on some of that. And a cold front, again, tough to predict how exactly it will unfold. There's another system across the west you could see moving in at the same time. And there's an increasing confidence that there could be some sort of a system for those folks living across the northeast, across the east, really late late this upcoming week into next weekend. And this one doesn't necessarily the Canadians show a coastal storm, but if I were to show you the latest model of the GFS, so again, kind of switching topics, I've been talking about this system, right, the big one right there. Let's change to a different one. You can see we have a lot of moisture, a bit of cold air, and look what this model shows, right? So with this latest GFS model run, it shows a system. First, a glancing blow of snow, but then a deeper thrust of precipitation, moisture, and cold air, and boom, we have a pretty good chance for a coastal system. This has been consistent relatively in the models, so that's definitely something to watch for, and boom, that would be a very strong system. Obviously, still far out, but it's something to keep an eye on, and it's worth noting. And look, right there, at the same time, another system moves in onto the Californian coast, and this one could be just absolutely legendary with the amounts of moisture it has. I mean, you know, good, I guess, but goodness is the one word I could use. Look at that across the southwest, all those precip amounts, again, pumping moisture. This one seems to have a bit more less chances of pumping in warm air, so maybe a bigger, stronger snowstorm across the plains as a result. This information is still processing. It's still relatively fresh, folks, and but yeah, it's a growing confidence. I mean, look at that, the southwest. If we see a pattern like we've been seeing with these storms, just one after the other, we could be seriously looking at a drought buster in the long term. You know, obviously, I don't think the whole winter season will be like this, but just from these systems alone that I'm showing you here, this will significantly put a dent in the drought and lift the reservoirs out of a lot of drought. Again, it's more of a long-term thing, but you know, given that it's a La Nina, it's definitely an encouraging sign, because usually La Ninas are drier. People were saying, oh, it's going to be a tough year, and you know, that's reasonably to expect, but you can't forecast a winter just off of the La Nina, and this year is a perfect example. I mean, there are a few El Ninos that are more wet for the southwest than this La Nina so far has been. Again, things could change, but even if they do, it's been already a pretty good amount of precipitation for the southwest. And yeah, I just want to show you regarding the long-term other model runs, right? That wasn't the first one that just came in showing that. Look at this one. Was a bit less aggressive with that storm, but you could still see moisture. And then that's not it. You could see there's more flowing in. This one keeps it a bit towards the northwest. Again, you could see larger systems across the plains for sure. I don't think that, you know, we'll continue to see extreme warmth across the rest of the United States. It will definitely be a changing pattern. And again, the models are jumping all over the place, and that's expected. It's a pretty volatile pattern. There are, you know, big storms, little changes could mean a huge difference of where they go or what they do. Again, you could see this one in the morning also showed that northeast system like the latest one does. So again, there's been consistency. Another system hugging the California coast there, and yeah, you could see this one in the morning also showed a very sorry about that, very similar situation with, again, more moisture lurking up the coast. So that's a bit, you know, off task in terms of this current one that I'm talking about, but I think it's still kind of fun, so nice to look in a long range and see what may be coming, right? But yes, in regards of this system, right now, if you live across the southwest California, the northwest will start seeing a bit of a clearing from this system. They already have been. It's not as impressive as it was. But again, Northern California, the worst is tonight. Then it shifts into Southern California. That's the worst is going to be tonight into tomorrow and into the evening. And then through Tuesday night and into Wednesday, kind of mid-afternoon, it dashes through the Midwest, the plains, or not the Midwest, sorry, the rest of the southwest, and eventually reaches the plains. And again, not as much moisture here, but definitely still some good amounts. And you can see the National Weather Service has issued various winter storm warnings, even, you know, across the Colorado, say San Juan mountains, which won't expect legendary amounts of snow, but still a good, you can see right there, 12 to 18 inches, 1 to 3. That's some pretty good amounts. And in total, I would say probably, again, maybe 1 to 2 feet. That's what they're saying. Yeah, 18 with locally amounts higher, so about 1.5 feet. So yeah, definitely a lot of potential for snow there as well. But yeah, anywhere else, the up here, you saw the models. They're pretty chaotic. Different ones show different scenarios. So they're across these weather offices where that snow could occur across the Midwest. They're just showing the potential. It's growing. At the very least light snow with extremely heavy winds, right? So if there are if it is a 6 inch, 7 inch event, it's going to be a bit of a nastier one due to the winds. It's not just going to be a 6 inch, say, wet heavy snowfall that just kind of falls very calmly. It's gonna be pretty close to a nightmare. And then yeah, that's basically all I want to show you. Did I show you the European model? I don't know if I did, and if I didn't, well then let me show you this model. Again, this is what it does. Again, it takes a very similar timing as a GFS. Picks this system up by the time it's Wednesday in the afternoon. It is already pretty much out of the west, even the southwest. And again, the worst across say Utah, Arizona. It's gonna be for Tuesday into Wednesday, and this system, it's impacting the east already. Starting Wednesday when those winds start picking up. But Thursday is going to be by far the worst day, or late Wednesday into early Thursday, I should say, for the plains, all the way into the northeast. These showers, cloud cover, kind of this almost muggy type environments for winter, as close as it could get, right? Again, potentially some severe weather across Iowa, Kansas, Missouri. Thursday, late Wednesday into Thursday, we do see that snowy side potentially of it into early Thursday, and pretty much by the time it is Friday, the system is done. There is still a bit of residual showers, but then another system starts picking it up, so you could pretty much call it quits with that system, that beast. And then again, the European, by the way, does show some activity. You could see further towards the north, snow maybe across Michigan, the northeast, maybe some snow. Again, the rain snow line, again, very vague. This is pretty far out still. And the European does show a lot of activity, and potentially again more systems for the southwest especially, which is just truly a good sign, but just maybe a bit too ridiculous with all those amounts. But we'll have to wait and see, guys. It's an interesting pattern we're heading into. Definitely not something that is discouraging. I know a lot of people, if I were to take a look at observations and observed snowfall for the year, it's been pretty small for the seasonal snow analysis for many areas. I mean, Wisconsin hasn't even picked up any, southern Wisconsin, which is rather unusual. Lots of Indiana, much of Iowa, but again, I do think a lot of this will start filling in. But this is good news. We see these decent amounts here, and that's what we'll want to see. So, and I do think we still have a lot of winter ahead of ourselves, and it's gonna throw in a lot of it's a year of extremes. All La Niñas are, but in what scenario is it? Hot? Is it warm? I don't know, but it's been holding true every year. Maybe it's just gonna be a year of extremes for the Southwest with just buckets and buckets of precip and water. I mean, that is extraordinary. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next episode. See ya. Bye.